What if the air around you just vanished? No explosion, no fire, no noise, just silence. And then you can't breathe. In 1986, an entire community in Cameroon went to bed, and by morning, over 1,700 people were dead. No war, no disease, just something in the air. What kind of lake kills people without touching them? How does something invisible become one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history? And why did no one see it coming? This isn't a myth. This is one of the strangest, most chilling natural events ever recorded. And today, it could happen again in other lakes around the world. In this episode, we'll uncover how a lake turned into a silent weapon, what science didn't understand until it was too late, and the haunting question that still lingers. Could it happen again? Lake Nyos is a deep crater lake nestled high in the volcanic mountains of northwestern Cameroon. It looks peaceful, even beautiful, with its still blue waters surrounded by lush forest. But its calm surface hides a dangerous secret. Crater lakes, like Nyos, form in volcanic craters, depressions left after volcanic eruptions. They're often very deep and layered, with different temperatures and densities at different depths. The people living nearby depended on this lake for fishing, water, and farming. For years, they saw it as a life source, unaware it was quietly building a deadly gas bomb beneath its surface. To understand how Lake Nyos killed so many, we need to dive beneath the surface, literally. Beneath the calm water lies a strange and deadly process. Lake Nyos sits above a volcanic hotspot. Deep underground magma releases carbon dioxide, a gas you breathe out every day. Over decades, this carbon dioxide seeps up slowly, dissolving into the cold, deep water of the lake, just like bubbles in a shaken soda bottle. But unlike a soda, the carbon dioxide doesn't escape. It stays trapped at the bottom because of the lake's unique layering. Denser cold water below, warmer water above, creating a natural barrier. This layering, called stratification, means the carbon dioxide builds up over years under immense pressure. The lake becomes a giant, natural soda bottle, shaken but never opened. Scientists call this phenomenon a limnic eruption. Until 1986, it was a terrifying theory, but no one had seen one happen. But when the pressure reaches a critical point, all that gas can suddenly burst free with deadly consequences. August 21st, 1986. It began like any other night in the remote villages near Lake Nyos. People cooked dinner, children played, fires crackled in the distance. Then, just before midnight, something invisible was set loose. Without warning, a massive burst of carbon dioxide erupted from the lake. Scientists believe a landslide, heavy rain, or a subtle temperature change disrupted the lake's layers, triggering the gas release. The carbon dioxide shot out of the lake like a geyser, creating a foaming column of water over 300 feet high. The gas didn't explode in flames. It flowed silently, rolling across the land as a thick, invisible blanket. Carbon dioxide is heavier than air. It hugged the ground as it poured into nearby valleys, moving fast, silent, and deadly. Within minutes, entire villages were suffocating. People dropped where they stood. Cows, goats, chickens all collapsed mid-step. Fires snuffed out. Engines stalled. Even insects died. Some survivors reported strange smells. Others said they felt dizzy or their skin tingled. But most never even knew what was happening. By morning, over 1,700 people were dead. 3,500 livestock gone. Entire villages were eerily silent. And the lake? It looked the same as always. Calm. Still. No fire, no waves, no sign of the horror it had unleashed. When rescue teams arrived, they were met with a surreal and chilling sight. Entire villages were frozen in time. People lay where they had fallen, in homes, on roads, in fields, with no visible injuries. Even emergency responders began collapsing if they entered the area too soon. There was no sign of violence, no disease. It was like a mass extinction event, without a sound. No one understood what had happened. Was it a chemical spill? A curse? Theories ran wild. It wasn't until scientists began studying the lake that the true cause emerged. They discovered that the entire lower half of the lake water was saturated with carbon dioxide, trapped under pressure for years. When the lake overturned, that trapped gas escaped in a rush, like opening a shaken bottle of soda. The difference: this bottle was the size of a mountain lake, and the gas it released was lethal. The term limnic eruption was coined, a phenomenon so rare it had never been documented in human history. Lake Nyos was no longer just a lake. It had become one of Earth's most bizarre natural weapons. This was the first time we realized that a lake could be deadly. It changed how we thought about volcanic environments. After the shock of the Lake Nyos disaster, the next question was, can it happen again? The answer was yes. In fact, just 2 years earlier, a similar, smaller event had occurred at Lake Manoon, only 60 miles away. And scientists discovered something even more terrifying. Lake Kivu, on the border of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, holds billions of cubic meters of carbon dioxide and methane, enough to threaten millions of lives if released. The world needed a solution. Fast. And the fix? A clever but surprisingly simple system called degassing. Engineers inserted long vertical pipes deep into the lake. The bottom end reaches the gas-saturated layer. As water enters the pipe, the pressure drops, and the carbon dioxide begins to bubble out. The bubbles lift the water upward, creating a self-sustaining fountain of gas and water, releasing carbon dioxide safely into the air in small amounts. No explosions, no deadly clouds. Over time, this process slowly bleeds the lake dry of its deadly gas buildup. It's like releasing pressure from a tire slowly, instead of letting it burst. Today, Lake Nyos is much safer than it was in 1986, but it's still monitored constantly. The crater walls are unstable. Rainfall levels and potential landslides are watched closely. And at Lake Kivu, degassing is now part of energy production, turning methane into electricity while also preventing catastrophe. These lakes are being studied like never before. Because one thing is clear: the danger wasn't a one-time fluke. It's a rare, silent threat that could strike again if we're not paying attention. Today, Lake Nyos is quieter than ever, but its silence means something very different now. The land around the lake has begun to heal. Some families have returned. Others never will. In Cameroon, the name Nyos is still spoken with reverence and fear, a reminder of how fragile life can be when we live beside forces we barely understand. For scientists, Nyos wasn't just a mystery, it was a message. Nature doesn't always roar when it strikes. Sometimes it whispers. And when we don't listen, people die. Since 1986, the concept of limnic eruptions has gone from obscure theory to a recognized natural hazard. New monitoring systems have been installed. Emergency protocols exist now where none did before. But how many other disasters are still waiting to be discovered? How many normal lakes or mountains or clouds hide something no one has seen yet? If you made it this far, ask yourself, what other silent threats could be out there, right now, unnoticed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's the scariest natural event you've never heard of until now? If you like stories where science meets the strange, where the truth sounds like science fiction, hit subscribe and join us for more true stories that are weird, wild, and 100% real. Because in the world we live in, fact is often stranger than fiction.